Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to monthly Lunar Rhythm with Christine Skinner. And we know, yes, plan Mercury retrograde, and also maybe we should plan Jupiter retrograde at the same time. No, Jupiter's not retrograde yet, but stationary. But I just make a mistake and nearly send us to another channel. Don't worry, still astrology channel, but something else.
Okay,
But
well,
we are
we've got
back.
it sorted out, and we know what we want to talk about, which is all foreign affairs. It's so
Ju-
apt.
It's Jupiter stationed.
I know.
So tell us your big trip.
Well, I spent 20 days in Canada, right?
Yes.
So the original plan was that I would go from Canada into the United States, but that
Yeah.
became not an option. So I Canada. It was
Yeah.
20 degrees there, very lovely when I arrived on the 15th of October, but only 2 degrees when I left, and they've now got snow. So that was just last week. That was, so I got out whilst the going was good. However, I was there for the World Series. They're big, like this is bigger than the football cup. This was really mega,
Yeah.
right? So the Blue Jays were playing the Dodgers. And this was a huge deal because there I was in Canada supporting the Canadians.
Yeah.
But my big time colleague, right, and friend is in San Francisco, and he was really going for the Dodgers. So it was so obviously I was really interested in how it was playing out. I was fascinated too by the Mercury Mars conjunction that was hanging about for days,
Yes.
that. So anyway, I was privileged to be there during this really exciting time, and I decided I wanted to write about it. So
Hmm.
I started to write, but of course I don't really understand all the rules of the game, and it wasn't so good. So what I want to do is to tell people that they should go to the Astrology News Service site,
Yes.
right? Because they've now got a sports writer, as well as Alex doing his usual asteroid things, and the two pieces that are there about this game are really worthy of a really good astro read. So if you want some light things, and they're not long pieces, only 500
Mhm.
words. So that's the first thing. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
anyway,
Let me explain. If you are a beginner and you really want to learn something like astrology language or symbols meaning, Astro News Service is really place you should start
uh,
with because we explain very well and it's light, 500 word.
yeah,
Try
it's,
it.
it's very light. It's supposed to be a cup of coffee reading, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be um, for people who have got maybe limited knowledge, but it's to keep up to date with world affairs and the big world stuff.
Yes.
So it's a
Yeah.
really good place. It's a good for all of us. So
Yes.
anyway, so I landed back, right, and I got a handful of offers of places to go and speak next year, including your lovely Taiwan thing. And I thought,
Yeah.
I need to start thinking. Once I've got through jet lag, I must start thinking about this. The one thing I hadn't thought about was Mexico. It wasn't on my list, right? But
No way. Are you going to Mexico?
I don't know if I'm going to Mexico, right? Because I'm certainly not going to decide whilst Mercury is where it is. So
Yeah.
anyway, and I'm starting to think that the only way around to solve all these things is to do a round
Hmm.
the world ticket.
Oh,
More,
definitely.
yeah, most definitely. So anyway,
Yeah.
I had a super conversation, first of all, this morning with my colleague in Mexico who happens to be traveling through Europe, but an hour or so ago with my Mexico client who I speak to every Monday. And
Mm.
their president is just a very interesting thing, this. Their president, Claudia,
Yeah.
her moon is at 0 degrees of Aries. Right?
Yes.
And I don't know if you've seen in the press, but she is challenging the fact that she was she was assaulted, this
Yes.
thing just recently as Neptune was on her moon. And of course,
Yeah.
I'm wondering now what is going to happen when we have both Saturn and Neptune on her moon.
Hmm.
Now, the news that you and I aren't getting, because Mexico isn't on the BBC News, right?
Yeah.
More of which in a minute, right? But it's not the top story, is that they've had many protests in recent weeks, right?
Uh-huh.
Not all as supportive of the Claudia government as we've
Yeah.
led to believe. And so I've been looking at this and wondering what happens next year because the eclipse is going to affect her chart, plus these
Ah.
two things on her moon. So it makes you start to think that if she actually loses momentum, let's not say power, but let's say if she loses momentum, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you know, the crumbling of the Mexican thing, this would have the, you know, we're seeing just in every country how politics
Yeah.
is actually just crumbling. It's just everywhere,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting thing. I've had to go into the Mexico chart and
Mm-hmm.
right. And I'm only mentioning this because you never know what's going to land on your desk. This is the wonderful,
Uh-huh.
but doing this job, you never know
Yeah.
what you're going to be asked to do. So
Yes.
my client this afternoon, right,
Mm-hmm.
was actually interested in his business interests, but
Yeah.
obviously the political decisions that are made in Mexico affect him, right? He happens to be an Aries as well. So Saturn
Uh-huh.
is going to pummel him next
Yeah.
well. So it was just, I just thought I'd mention this because if anybody thinks that all we do as a financial astrologer, if that's what I am, if they think that we're just looking at numbers all day, you actually can't look at the numbers unless you've done the good mundane stuff. So we'll do
Exactly.
it together, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree because there's a 1 year, probably like 10 years ago, I had a chance dinner with Sue Tompkins. We were just talking about, I say, oh, I'm into financial astrology and da 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 da. And she was saying, you know, that's part of you should have a good solid foundation about the mundane astrology.
You
Then you
can't
will, yeah,
you can't do it
yeah.
without it. And I think, I mean, a year ago, I wasn't happy about calling myself a financial astrologer because I really wasn't happy because
Uh-huh.
I honestly don't think you can call yourself that unless you actually understand the numbers and harmonics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, they're not taught in as much depth as I would like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. However, that brings me to the next thing, because actually, although I was flirting about with this Mexico chart today, what I
Yes.
really needed to work on is that next weekend, I'm giving an astro crypto event,
Ooh.
right, where I'm only looking at the cryptocurrencies and what they might do next year. And
Mm-hmm.
um, but I knew you and I were going to have a talk, and the
Yeah.
title of our thing is Lunar Rhythms. So I just thought
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to tell you that I'm now seeing a really quite a direct correlation between lunar declination and the crypto market, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not every month, right? You couldn't trade
Mm-hmm.
just on that. But, you know, 80% of the time you could. There's some very good trades coming out of that. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be showing that on Sunday. Yeah,
Cool.
that's the next thing.
Yeah, so
So,
if people are interested in this topic, where should they find your information?
well,
Financial Universe?
yes, or right direct to Julie
Okay.
Scopes at gmail.com. We put it at,
I'll put Julie's email here. Yeah.
yeah. So then that leads me to the fact that just before I left Canada, I had
Mm-hmm.
this lovely email from Ray Merriman inviting
Mm-hmm.
me to speak at his conference in Slovenia, right?
Ooh.
Not en route to Mexico, right?
Let's detour.
I don't know how this is going to work out, but that's rather lovely. I'm going there at the end of May, and I think what I'm going to do, I've got to deliver the talk title to him before the end of this month. Well, as Mercury turns direct, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm thinking that actually what I think I'm going to do is nothing but lunar trading. I think last year when I did a presentation for him and last year I focused on the solar cycles. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? I might change my mind whilst Mercury's retrograde, but I'm thinking I'll go for the lunar thing. So that's
Beautiful.
that. So, and that brings me then to thinking about the great US of A.
Oh, big one?
And yeah,
UAC?
so,
Tell
so,
me more.
so Monica this morning said, oh, she said, I've got the answer to UAC. She said, you could come via Mexico. And I thought, on what planet do we go from London to Chicago?
Mexico. Well, I think once you fly off from London, every part of the world is easier. So Chicago to Mexico is just another 4 hours flight.
It's just another something. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, I'm now, I had a long chat with the British Airways steward on the way back from Canada, and I was
Mm-hmm.
asking him about what the experience was of people going in and out of the USA.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, we've spoken about this and concern. And he said that he regularly does the Los Angeles trip, the Washington one, and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He was not familiar with Chicago, so he couldn't
Mm-hmm.
comment on that. But he said that the only, and it was tittle tattle, the only experience he knew of it being negative was actually New York. And it wasn't because
Mm-hmm.
somebody didn't get in, it was more about how much they, you know, the questions they were asked about getting into the USA.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are
So
you doing here?
yeah,
How are
what are
you
you
going to
doing?
stay?
How long are you going to stay? Yes, yeah. So it's kind of usual. So I feel a bit more relaxed now about the Chicago
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Although how I'm going to work this out with this round the world thing,
Oh, yes.
I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not going to decide that yet. So there were two other things I was going to talk to you about.
Yeah.
One was just a sort of refresher, a memory thing. Do you remember October the 11th? We had
Yes.
we had the heliocentric Mars-Uranus opposition,
Indeed.
yeah,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the cryptos and everything else fell off a cliff that weekend.
Yes.
And then we've just had the geocentric one just last week.
Yes.
And once again, stocks did a bit of a sliver, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think, you know, we're indebted really to Arch Crawford on this one for identifying that as a crash cycle. It does not work every time. But
True.
it's like
Yes.
everything. It's like everything. It's seductive because it works so many times. But again, we're
Mm-hmm.
back to the sort of 80% rule. Right?
Yes.
But coupled with the full moon last week, it's kind of not so
Tricky.
tricky.
Yeah.
That was that. But I've got really into these, you know, you've got cometitis, and
Yeah.
I'm suffering from a bad attack of more Plutos.
More Plutos.
Well, that's the
Tell
title.
us. Tell
Yeah,
us more Plutos.
well, that's the title of Sue Keats's book. And
Yes.
really, if you haven't bought yourself a Christmas present, that's got to be it for the year. It is absolutely astounding. The research, she happens to be a witty writer, which makes it much easier to read.
Oh.
But she covers so much of the history of these really broad cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Uses so many examples. You know, you've got at least a dozen examples on every one of these things. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
she and I were in some dialogue yesterday, and she was pointing out that you know, I'm thinking of the planets that I can actually see, or you know, that are localized, right? She's looking at these much bigger pictures, but she was pointing out that Maki
Mm-hmm.
is at right angles to Quor. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
That's right.
I'm allergic to work. So Maki is sort of middle degrees of, not quite middle degrees of Libra. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have Quor that's in
Mm-hmm.
Capricorn at 9 degrees-ish of Capricorn,
Mm-hmm.
which is at right angles to Salacia, right?
Mm.
Again, right? And they're at right angles to something which I'm not even going to even begin to try and pronounce, right? It begins with an X. That's all you need to know. It begins with an X and ends with an O. But essentially, we have a grand cross that's
Mm-hmm.
anything, any country that's got something cardinal points between 9 and 12 of the cardinals, right? That's
Okay.
us. That's us, right?
Yeah.
And as near as damn it, that is also the great US of A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, that picks up Australia, picks up most of the Commonwealth countries, including Canada.
Yeah.
All of us caught with these really slow moving things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're in the grip of this cardinal thing, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
actually see, you can almost feel it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the tension and everything. It's
Uh-huh.
I honestly, I cannot recommend her book highly enough because she's not looking at it from a gloom and doom point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be constructive about this. We're going through
Lovely.
something. We also have Pluto, as you know, at right angles with Haumea.
Yeah.
And that's a bit of an ugly one as well. But
Mm.
maybe, maybe we're actually going to come out, maybe this is just a few really tough years.
Yes.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, Haumea is the goddess of the volcano, but it's
Yes.
also very productive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that actually links to something else. So I went to a town called Stratford. Could you believe Stratford
Stratford.
in Canada, which has
Oh, okay.
it has its own river, Avon, with
Uh,
swans. And it's got 4 theaters in this tiny little town. I mean, and the
wow.
festival was absolutely amazing. Um, why am I telling you that? Sorry, what did you say? You were saying about
Haumea.
Haumea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, it was pouring with rain when we came out from the theatre, and we had to kill a bit of time. And we went into an indigenous art shop and
Mm.
saw the most exquisite sculpture of Sedna, right? And it was a sculpture that was done by these people in Nunavut, in the Eskimo land. And it was
Whoa.
absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I took a picture of it because it's so gorgeous. But so the lady, of course, running the place didn't know of our interest. So she
Mm-hmm.
starts to tell Priscilla and I all the story about Sedna, but she's giving us the real Eskimo version because we get a sanitized Astro version of the thing, right?
All right.
This really was the true Eskimo story. This was, and it is very much about a fertility thing, right? Because we
Okay.
we focus on the lady had her fingers chopped off, and
Finger chop, yes.
so we focus on that end of it, but they're seeing it as being an absolute birth thing, which is very much as we see Haumea, the volcano
Oh,
rising up,
yeah.
giving birth to new ideas. So yeah, I mean, that was an absolutely extraordinary few minutes in this shop with this lady. It was just, and if I could have bought this sculpture, I tell you, I would have done. But there's no way I could have brought it back to the UK. It weighed a ton for a start, but it was absolutely gorgeous. But what I was going to say about this, that Sue Keats was saying that, telling me yesterday that Marky, who's part of this Grand Cross thing,
Mm-hmm.
had been really important in the chart for the 1929 crash, right?
Ah,
Which is an interesting, we're always finding another piece of evidence as to why something happened.
yeah.
I have a rule with clients that if you can't back something up 3, 4, or 5 ways, you shouldn't make
Mm-hmm.
a forecast, right? You shouldn't do it.
Mm,
It is
mm,
not. It's not enough to say Jupiter's going past your Venus X, right? You have to have several things, but it's
yes.
interesting going back over big events and
Mm,
discovering new pieces that actually back up
mm,
what actually happened. It's
yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, I think a similar way for us doing the research. Usually you will see something like, for example, maybe I see a pair of conjunction, and I would say, oh, this related to that. This is related to certain event, and
Yeah,
then unless I can find that it happened repeatedly in
yeah.
similar event. If not, I couldn't just say, oh, this definitely related to certain
No,
event, and that is kind of a little
but
bit biased, I think.
yeah, and I think this is really a really interesting thing about astrologers now, because
Mm-hmm.
the way in which we dissect or decode, we go
Mm-hmm.
back to say, well, what was the last time? When was the last time Mercury went retrograde in Sagittarius? And
Uh-huh.
and did the BBC Director General resign then? I mean,
Resign, yes.
like we go back to see, but actually one event is not enough. It is just
True.
not enough. You've really got to see how many things fit. And as I said, if you can't find 3, 4, or 5, then you
Hmm.
haven't really got a match. And
Yes.
and in the financial stuff, the trading stuff I've just done, the
Hmm.
guy was really he's a proper trader, right?
Hmm.
And he really quizzes me. He really puts me absolutely on the block because he says it's not enough. We can't just go with that happened on that new moon. That's not enough, right? Why? How
Mm.
much did it move? Why did it move? Why didn't gold do that? Why was it only that? And lots and lots of questions to answer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating stuff.
definitely.
So, you asked me what am I doing next? I'm staying
Yes.
here for 2 months. That's the first thing is I'm no longer.
Oh, are you staying here for Christmas?
Yes.
Let's go out for a meal. Let's go out for a meal.
Shock horror. I'm actually going to stay put for 10 weeks or so. And then I'm going to go to Florida. But I'm going to do the crypto event at the weekend. And
Yes.
the weekend do my usual monthly one. And then I'll do your event is next.
Yeah, I will mention that later. Yes.
At the beginning of December. And then I will do the proper forecast for 2026 in December.
Yeah.
Um, and then before I get on the next flight, I have to finish this book. And you know what that's like.
Oh yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Busy now. Busy now. Yeah. So I will mention about apart from your crypto course and your monthly course on the 5th to the 7th of December, we have our Academy of Astrology online conference, and this year we have Christine Skinner. You're going to talk about the Europe.
I'm going to talk about somebody actually sent me a very nice email asking whether or not I was repeating something that I'd done in October, which I'd done a world events thing. But no, I'm
Uh-huh.
not. No, I'm not. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously some of the charts are the same, but no, this is I'm focusing on Europe for your event.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So
So we will have,
no
yeah,
Taiwan.
yeah, yeah. So and we also have Sue Tompkins, Lynn Bells, Keenan Yassin, Liam McCarthy, Wendy Stacy, all join us. Also Hakan. Hakan is going to give talk about zodiac releasing. So definitely going to be fun and enjoy it. Today, if you are watching this on the 10th of November, today is our last day of early bird prize. Last day
Okay.
of early bird price. Go grab it quick, quick. Okay. So send me an email and then book your seat. If not, it will go back to full price, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really exciting to be doing it. Yes, but
Yes.
but hopefully, I mean, it sounds so ridiculous. We're only a few miles apart from one another, so we
Yeah.
definitely have to meet before Christmas.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely before you boarding next flight, or I boarding next flight.
Yeah. So when's your next flight?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Very soon.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'm going in 2-3 weeks time just for a tiny holiday, just for 3 days city break.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. I'm working so hard. I deserve it.
yes. I mean, I'm not getting on a plane, but I am getting on the Eurostar for 2 or 3 days. I'm going to.
Ooh.
So yes, that's a separate thing.
Go, okay then. Well, enjoy the Eurostar journey.
Yes, I will. I will. I will.
Well, thank you for taking your time out and share your experience of traveling and this very interesting the grand course of the Hamea and Makemake. These things is
Yeah, it's.
wow, worth us to pay attention. Yeah.
I mean, it's a very, very slow moving thing. We're going to be underneath
Yes.
Grand Cross for a long time.
I'm I'm
But
curious now.
it's what fascinates me are the countries that are affected. You know,
Yes. Yeah,
that's it,
indeed.
because they're all
Yes.
the ones that are on your news show each night.
Yeah. Yep. So for our audience, if you are into Christine's crypto course or the monthly course, later I will put information on the description area. Also, if you want to join us for our conference, I will also have information there. And see you next month. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.